Hello everyone. So for this tutorial, we're gonna look over Encrypted's universal DDS converter. It's an awesome tool that will convert any textures you have into DDS format. The only thing that's important before you start this is to make sure that they follow traditional naming conventions, right? So for your color mats or color textures, it should end with underscore color, underscore C, diffuse, albedo, etc., etc. For normal, it's going to be normal N, AO or ambient occlusion, so on and so forth. First, you're going to start by adding a folder, and you're going to select the source of where your textures are stored. For this to work best, it's best that you store your textures in a folder that only has those textures and doesn't have an XBX file or anything else. Once that is ready, hit scan all, and all your textures will now populate. So as you can see, they all follow the naming conventions, and now we just need to convert them.
Can I just say something? So basically, guys, this will help you with automatically with the process of naming the DX5s, DX7s, DX4s to the right format. Everything has already done a preset, so everything will show up as it did if you use Substance Paint, blah, blah, blah. But this takes away that process.
Thank you. So once you have finished converting all your textures, they will populate in wherever you stored your DDS converter folder inside out. So here are all the exported textures. Now what you'll want to do is copy them into your Starfield data folder, which is commonly going to be under Steam Apps, Common, Starfield, and then Data, and Textures. In this case, we've already created a new folder, but you'll want to create a new folder and store your textures in there. And we're simply going to copy all of these in here. So now that you have created your new texture folder and you have placed your new textures in there, you may open the creation kit. Now from there you can hit this, which is the material editor. If you do not see this black square, it means you must unpack your material files. I will link in the description a video you can watch to find out how to do that. So we're going to create a new material. Typically you'll be using either a standard or a standard layer emissive. So know whether or not your material has an emissive, and we're going to start with our first texture. So our first texture is going to have an emissive, and so we're going to call it and same thing here, you'll want to create a new folder. We're going to have to edit that out.
You're good, bro. Don't worry about it.
Right. So once you create your new folder, simply save your new material in here. and now select all the materials that apply. Navigate back to the folder that you created. It is easier if you keep the naming structure the same. That way you can easily find your textures. And voila. Now all your textures are good. So albedo is going to be the color texture. Normal is going to dictate indents and crevices in your texture. Opacity is if you have transparent parts of this texture. Not every material is going to need that. In this case, we do not have any. Roughness is going to dictate how roughness and metallic are going to dictate how shiny it is. And then ambient occlusion, what is shadows and what is visible or not. And then emissive is going to be whatever glows. Don't forget, once you have finished creating your material, save it and repeat the process for each texture set you have. Our next material is not going to have an emissive, so same process, but without the emissive. So in this case, if it does not have an emissive, just select standard one layer. Once again, save it in your folder. Sometimes if you do not have a roughness or a metal map, what you can do is simply adjust these here, and this will dictate how shiny it is. So for example, if it was a very metallic material, you would have the roughness probably around the middle here, and then metallic all the way on the black. And then if it was pretty rough, you would have this all the way up, and you would have this over here in the darker side. But we actually have textures for these. And don't forget to hit save, and then move on to the next texture set. In some cases, you may come across an alternate version of a texture set. So in this case, we have an alternate color map. So we're going to keep everything the same for ambient, metalness, roughness, and normal, but with the color map, we're going to switch it to the alternate one, and this time we're going to save as and call it alt or 2, and there you go. So once you have created your materials, you can open up your mesh that you exported. Link in the description will be on how to export a mesh. You'll want to add these materials to that mesh. So open up some line nodes. This might be very deep. In this case, we have saved the geometry so that the material is in the name. But if you cannot find that, it can be helpful to have your Blender file opened and look at the material in here, because sometimes if you save NifScope, the model, without having given it a proper material, it will just rename it to a number. So in this case, we're looking at dual turbos. under the new folder we created, dual turbos, and right here.
It's at the front, at the front.
And there we go. Looks like it worked pretty well. Alright, time to repeat the process for the other ones. In case I didn't go over, under the geometry, you have the BS sliding shader property. And on the BS sliding shader property, name, right click, edit file index, browse materials, and then scroll down to your material. We'll do one more. Here, this one is the triple turbo. So under geometry, lighting shader property, browse materials, triple, and there they are. Just repeat the process for every geometry. Be right back when it's done. Now we have finally added all the materials, and look at this beauty. We can finally save it. We have two versions in this case, which I will showcase at the end. And here's the other version. If you want to support Encrypted, who made this awesome tool, please follow the link in the description, and can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Thank you.